This week, we're going to dig into some touchy subjects. Let's get after it.
It was great. So high energy, had me engaged the entire time.
I think what's great about Kevin's message is that, no matter how naturally talented you are, no matter how great you can always keep striving for that next level. And even, if you become complacent, you might not even realize you've done it. But Kevin really helps you realize, that there's so much more that you can do. If you take a step back, really reevaluate what you're doing and what you're not doing, you can take it to the next level.
I loved his message about God's gift to you and your gift back. And he's just so down to earth and just a helpful, wonderful man.
Really, I think you can put him in front of anybody, and you're going to be inspired, you're going to be motivated, you're going to want to go out there, and you're going to want to start, reaching for that next level today.
Hey, thanks so much for joining in to the Leadership is Personal podcast, bringing you real-world solutions to real-world challenges in anywhere from 3 to 10-minute increments. Leadership is personal. Here's the better results. Bob Woodward, fear. Colin Kaepernick, just do it. Tucker Carlson, diversity isn't our strength. I covered this topic a few years ago after the presidential election. A recent call from a consulting firm and discourse with a group of leaders I touched on last week has prompted me to continue down this path. What did and does the election outcome have to do with your organization and the work that needs to get done? A lot. With the backdrop of an already disengaged workforce, many chose to further disengage immediately following the election. This impacts our organization's productivity, whether the people of your organization's guy won or woman lost. They are still processing what this means in today's context. Question: have you engaged, or is your head buried in the proverbial sand? I know this is a tough subject, and many will choose to shy away from it. However, leadership is personal. And if you've taken the time to truly connect with those you lead, this isn't that tough of a conversation at all. People are not machines and don't check their thoughts and emotions at the door when they enter the office. While some were elated, some were actually mourning the loss by Hillary. Their scabs open and sore, and any brush against them in the office could ignite an outburst of pain. I heard both sides firsthand immediately following the election, lest someone say something wrong to me. These folk need to man up. They lost. Both of these sentiments without guidance and support are counterproductive. The issues of today are pulling off the scabs again and creating new wounds. Among the two main parties, it was as if there were 4 candidates running. For Donald J. Trump and Hillary Rodham Clinton, there was the candidate supporters saw and the candidate that the opposing side saw. There was what some saw as the most prepared person and first woman on the planet to lead the free world. Yet others saw a criminal that was neither prepared nor capable of running our country, unlike her own gang. There was the savvy businessman that would create jobs and make America great again. Yet others saw a narcissistic xenophobe that was born with a silver spoon in his mouth who had accomplished what anyone given a multi-million-dollar head start could. 4 candidates. Well, Trump won. However, his different approach to the presidency has caused some to do more than simply raise their eyebrows. But his policies have also caused some to applaud all the way to the bank. We are still divided. Politics, religion, both two subjects I was long told not to touch with a 10-foot pole in the office. I later spent many lunches discussing and debating differing opinions with a colleague of mine that led finance. We were peers and worked very closely together. Though our political opinions differed, there were very few in the office that I enjoyed working with more. There was a mutual respect for each other's opinion, and we were willing to listen, agree, and disagree. This made us better collaborators, better partners at getting stuff done. He even hired a friend's kid and went so far as to find her a mentor when none in the organization quite fit the bill for what she needed for her growth and development. We were friends. We would also connect outside of the office. This relationship, filled with difference, was important for each of us for our growth and development. He grew up in the Midwest, was a white guy and the son of an executive, while I grew up in inner city Philadelphia, a black man of meager means. This made for a pretty cool version of The Odd Couple. You see, our ears and brains are powerful, and they filter messaging looking for information that supports our own ideology. This friendship gave us the opportunity to see from the other side. Nin says we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. We tend to read, watch, and take in messages that resonate with our own existing thinking. Because we are moving through this day by day, people need a safe space in place to process what's happening in the world, what this all means. This includes in our organizations. Look, we needn't agree. In fact, the robustness of the relationship is in developing a mutual respect that enables you to disagree respectfully and still have a brew after or maybe during the conversation. Fact is, some of white America did not hear the messaging of our candidates the same as people of color. Some men did not hear the messaging of pundits the same as women did. Unconscious bias, gender bias. The effects of this election are impeding on the synapses in the brains of our employees that would otherwise be utilized to get their jobs done. The same messaging being heard differently by varying groups has the ability to permeate and impact the productivity of our organizations. And as leaders, it's imperative that we help our employees to process this quickly, safely, and inclusively so that they can handle the task at hand and get on with their gigs. Now, I'm not saying you need to mediate or referee. What I am saying is that you have to create a culture of mutual respect that enables even tough discussions to happen positively and pro-socially. This type of respectful discourse, believe it or not, drives deeper relationships, deeper engagement, and better collaboration. Look, the CEO of Kaiser Permanente, Bernard Tyson, got it. He shared a message he sent to the people of Kaiser. Without taking one side or the other, he shared his perspective. He let his voice be heard. This is leadership. Our teams are in search of our voice. As leaders, we can't bury our heads in the sand and act as if there's nothing going on. Our teams are looking for our inclusive leadership, our insights on how we navigate. They're looking to hear from us on how we process the happenings of the day in a balanced and non-judgmental way. The proverbial line that used to exist between work and home is blurred, and the people that we work with are looking for our support and our guidance. Not to sway or to direct, but to say, hey, I understand what you may be feeling, and you're in a safe place should you need to process. We can talk about it. Need I remind you that the employee that feels that their leader is interested in their personal lives and what they're dealing with is 3 times more engaged, 300% more engaged. You don't have to agree. You needn't celebrate or march with them. Simply hear them inclusively. Take an interest. Let them hear you authentically, and let them know that irrespective of what side of the line they fall on or what happens, we'll all be okay. The fear is a matter of perspective. Agree or disagree, we are all better when we just do it together. And hey, Tucker, I beg to differ. Diversity is wonderful, and we grow together when we engage many perspectives and experiences when solving problems. You see, the fact of the matter is, leadership is personal, and it starts with you. If you join us here each and every week, you'll get a tidbit of information and insight that'll help you be the best version of yourself. Come back next week. Be sure to join us on Facebook within the Facebook group. Check us out on Twitter and on Instagram. Kevin D. Wright. Look us up. Check us out. Link to us online. Love to hear from you. Unlike some of the other podcasts, I want to hear directly from you, and I will answer your question. There's no question too tough, so together we can solve it. Stop back and tell a friend. Leadership is personal. Here's the better results.